Ryan Keys, your host with Spirituality with a Spin, September 20th, 2016. If you are at the crossroads, if something is heavy on your heart, if you do not know which way to go and you need a little insight, please go to psychicperspectives.com, mention this code 257, and you can get 20% off of any reading, which will help to provide you that insight, that intuitive counseling that could make the difference in whether you do or don't. Give me love, Ed Sheeran. What is today without love? What is a moment without love? What is life without love? We strive to gain love, to get love, to give love, to feel love. Love is everything. Yet, so many of us believe we don't deserve love. We run from love. We destroy love. We debilitate ourselves because love is too risky. I myself try to seek as much love as possible, try to give as much love as possible, and want love, but yet still fail. It is a common quest, my friends. It is a detriment to our being. Without love, we are limited. Now, I have kicked off on YouTube and on this podcast a message from the source. Divine intervention, divine guidance has dropped itself in my lap. Twin flames, soulmates, soul braids, dating, life, love, learning, losing, letting go. All of these things have just compounded in my life, and it is time to start opening those up. It is time to let everything out. The All-Fire Guide to letting our own self find love. It's a tough world out there. The internet has not made it easier because now you don't even have to press flesh to find someone that will turn your fancy, that will fawn for your attention, that will ultimately pass or fail. It is too easy now. A little bit too easy. And we approach it in a Walmart style of shop and go, grab and go. We get what we need and we move on. Have I been guilty in some aspects, in some ways, in some fashions in life? Yes, I am. I'm human. I'm imperfect. That is why I'm here. Because if I was perfect, I'd already be ascended. I would already be heading on out to Polaris or to Andromeda or to some pristine place where it's all grass and sea and there's no sharks and I can surf nonstop. But that place is here. I have a theory. I've started working on a book called The Lucifer Effect. I believe once you ascend, once you obtain that level of ascension and you go before the council, before the source, before the architect, and you sit down and you say, I am here. And the designer looks at you and goes, well done. Where would you like to go? And you look around and you say to yourself, well, where's everybody else? Well, that's just you. But what about my friends and my family and those little children in Ethiopia that don't have food, or my dog, or what about all of them? Oh, well, you obtained and ascended, and it's just you. You can go wherever you like, do whatever you want. And you get to that moment and you realize that everything you really wanted was right back before you started. It was all the camaraderie, all the laughs, all the hurts, all the touching, all the hugging, all the watching sunsets, all the singing, all the dog tail wagging, all the things that you do and didn't get to do. And you look at the source, the designer, the council, and say, well, yeah, about that going wherever I want, can I go back? Because everybody I love is there. And I don't want to leave without them. And God just smiles and says, well done. You get it. You finally understand. So you go back into the rough stuff. You go back into the tears before laughter, the laughter before tears, and the scrapes and bumps and bruises and belly laughing till you can't control yourself, and beautiful sunsets and hand holding on the beach and falling asleep on the floor with your dog. Because that's where love exists. Love doesn't exist in that poetic, perfect place that has no sharks with great surf and a palm tree that I can lean on. Love, life, exists right here, in this moment. This is where it is. I encourage you and I challenge you. Bring whatever it is in your comments and let's go toe to toe. If you doubt what I'm saying, bring it on. I'm ready. So I am kicking off this series about being in love, finding love, giving love, receiving love, and letting go of love. On here and on YouTube. It's going to be 3D, man. 3D. Multidimensional, multifaceted. It's going to cross dimensions. It's going to cross the airwaves and the video waves. It's going to be phenomenal. You have to get on it. You have to catch it. You have to stay up with it because it is coming for you. And that's truth. Truth, baby. Coming right for you. Now, there's one topic I have to get out of my hair just prior to going into our series. I've come under influence and experienced through multiple avenues a phrase called ghosting. Now, what is ghosting according to the Urban Dictionary? The act of suddenly ceasing all communication with someone that the subject is dating but no longer wishes to date. This is done in hopes that the ghostee will just get the hint and leave the subject alone, as opposed to the subject simply telling them he or she no longer is interested. In fact, sometimes they even leave you a message, or they'll text you a message, or they'll email you a message. Ghosting is not specific to a certain gender and is closely related to the subject's maturity and communication skills. Many attempt to justify ghosting as a way to cease dating the ghostee without hurting their feelings. But in fact, it proves that the subject is thinking much more about themselves, is much more de-evolved, as ghosting often creates more confusion for the ghostee than if the subject had just said, "Get the hell away from me." Example, Carmen, how was your second date with Kyle? Beth, well, I thought it went well, but I've texted him a couple times since then, and he's just ghosted me. What? I thought he was more mature than that. Don't we think it's more mature than that always? So the Huffington Post went into an article about ghosting. And this really gets me because if I've broken up with people in the past, we have had a direct one-on-one conversation because I don't like to burn bridges. I think burning a bridge is burning yourself. You've just put a hurdle in your life, in your spiritual development, because you have felt that you could wield a godlike power of just shutting something down that was created by love and by two people. And really, that isn't your right to shut down without some type of closure. So, the Huffington Post talked to several psychologists. It's called The Psychology of Ghosting and Why People Do It, and is there a better way to break up? So for all of my friends and followers and wonderful clients, if you have been ghosted, let me just tell you, the female ghosting habits, women who have been ghosted is 26%. Women who have ghosted is 24%. Women who have not experienced ghosting is 23%. Women who have both ghosted and been ghosted is 25%. Male ghosting, however, males who have been ghosted, 36%. Males who are ghosting, 16%. So it appears that women are ghosting men much more than men are ghosting women. Now that is a conundrum. Creatures of emotion, creatures of love, creatures of birth. My nurturers, what are you doing? Why are you ghosting men? In an age of women's lib, in an age of women's rights, in an age where a woman is equal, can you not just have a conversation with a man? And men, you can block, you can delete, you can do those things, but have that conversation. I've had those conversations in the past, and they're not fun. Whether I had made the right choice or didn't make the right choice, who knows? But I still kept the line open to talk. So the chances are that you have been ghosted, at least 1 out of 3 chances if you're in the dating world. And so ghosting is when your date ends the relationship by cutting off all communication without any explanation to your face in a phone call, word to word, in a normal human interaction. Receiving the ultimate silent treatment. When your post focuses on running. They believe maybe it's less painful for them, or perhaps they lie to themselves and say it'll be less painful for you. But closure is closure. If I lost something, if I lost a love of my life, or if I lost a family member, or if someone was taken from me, I would want closure. Otherwise, everything that you said or did with that person was a lie. So, I encourage you, my people that are looking at the new philosophy of dating and the soulmate, soul braid, twin flame phenomenon that's blazing the world, as we rush into these concepts and these labels, let us do it with the same amount of style as if that person lived down the street from you and you were going to see them at Target or you were going to see them at the coffee shop. Give no less respect than if that person went to your school. Because if you're in a relationship with someone and you're building something and they were down the street, you know you're going to see them. So you're going to handle it in such a way. And girls, I encourage you, don't let this be the evidence of your heart. And it's like anything. The first time you do it is hard, but the second time easier, and the third time easier. And then I'm going to guess you actually get to a place where it's so easy for you to ghost. You probably have a fake email, a fake phone number, maybe even a fake name. Because the internet is a fantasy world. It is like out there, man. It is sci-fi. Whatever excuse you give yourself when you do it, understand that we are all creations of God. We have hearts. We have souls. Operate apparently. Be the same kind of a person as if you were going to bump into that person at the coffee shop next week. And don't go around saying that you're authentic self and being authentic and living an authentic life, and you can't even hang on through a short time of trouble. So we're going to nip this ghost thing in the bud, because if you are a ghoster, get your shit together, listen to this Soulmate and Twin Flame series, and I mean really listen and understand the people that cross your lives are important for all reasons. Friends, family, loved ones, strangers, homeless people. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a place. And don't wield soulmate. Don't wield twin flame. Don't wield all of those things haphazardly. It's okay if you get confused and you think that that's the status, but still, it's about open communication. It's about co-creating in a world with social karma, not looking out for your own karma, because social karma affects us all anyway. So have that conversation with the person. Don't just disappear. Moving forward into what we can expect about what we're going to talk about in this series. One of the great things that we're going to go for is we're going to talk about signs of soulmates, twin flame encounters. We're going to talk about what it means when you find a soulmate, what you can expect, the different types of soulmates. And we're also going to do a lot of twin flame research. And first I'd like to say, what are the signs of a soulmate and a twin flame? First, we've talked about several of these. So signs of a soulmate and twin flame encounter. Lily Bell did a really great quote, and I wanted to share that with you. The shell of our existence here divides our being and deludes the expression of our truth, but my heart knows that the illusion is as limited as our physical bodies, and our love is as limitless as our soul. I think that's great, because where we're headed down is a co-creative path that has good and bad. Responsibility needs to be wielded with all words from now on, I'm including myself. Let's look to Louise L. Hay with Neurolinguistic Programming. Don't you say it unless you mean it. Don't say it unless it needs to be said. And like I did, go for your week of silence. Get away. Learn how to control your frame of mind. Put peace in your step. So soulmates and twin flames can have similar signs, but how do we know the difference? For the part I would like to tell you not to worry about is because all soulmates and twin flames are super important to a relationship. Soulmates are a lot more common than twin flames, because twin flames rarely even incarnate together at the same lifetime, in the same zone. So a twin flame incarnation is like once in 100 lives. So when you figure that out, really weigh in that. And unless your twin flame is married with children in a relationship, you should pursue that. You should get on that, and you should make that a priority. Now, if they've developed a life and they are with a soulmate or a life mate, and they have made a family, you need to respect those bonds, and you may not be together while those children are being raised or whatever, but if there are no boundaries other than your own stubbornness and your own miscommunication or your own inability to ride the waves, don't be stupid. Get over it, move forward, and get back to that twin flame, because it only happens once every 100 lifetimes for the most part. Now, soulmate, they will make you feel the same. For instance, soulmates and twin flames have a certain familiarity where you feel like you've been comfortable with them. Soulmates have an intense attraction for the romantic types, and twin flames are having incredibly intense attraction for each other like no other, for not any particular reason other than it feels like home. And most of us have met at least one soulmate in our life. And when you look into a twin flame's eyes, you have this feeling of knowing immediately, that beautiful feeling that it's impossible to describe. You feel that the love around you is being surrounded by angels. and you feel like someone has just opened the door to a little cushy cabin out in the middle of nowhere where you can curl up by a fire and warm yourself for the rest of your life. Home. Home. Now, soulmate relationships can be with the best friends and lovers, family members, romantic partners. A soulmate will actually have a lot in common with you, and equally a lot different. But normally soulmates come in different aspects of our path to support us on a spiritual journey. Like the parable of the little soul with Conversations with God, Neil Donald Walsh, book 3. I think I just was talking about that, where the little soul wanted to feel that God-like forgiveness. So God was like, hey, why? And then the soul steps forward and says, I will help you experience that, but we have to go back. And as we go back, I will harm you and wrong you. So you will have to experience that God-like forgiveness. But I ask that you remember and you recall somewhere in your little part of that existence that I did this because I love you, and accept it. Now that would be a soulmate. Many times that we have a lot of difficulty facing those challenges with our soulmates, they're fueled kind of by past karma or conflicts that have been within us. So soulmates kind of bounce back and forth like a ping pong match, right? Soulmates bring a lot of aspects to needs that we need to address head on, but we are afraid to choose, and we're afraid to kind of go over. So typically we tend to navigate a soulmate relationship on a more conditional love, but through them we become more tolerant about life, which leads us to more acceptance and forgiveness as we grow and we move forward in life and cross paths with other soulmates and other life mates. Now, the soulmate connection really never goes away either. You're going to realize that. A soulmate, you always have a little piece of that person with you. So whether it's an old flame that you dated when you were in your 20s or teens or whatever it is, you're always going to have that little thing that comes up about them, right? So now, some believe that the twin flames come to us with no karma, and that there's a lot of theories out there. There's a lot of couples that have painted their twin flame relationship on the internet. But personally, I'd like to say that we're seeing more of these connections coming together to help raise the vibration at a faster rate so that we can all get ready spiritually. Now, a twin flame encounter will toss one into the face of all the things that you need to be dealt with before you can begin your work with humanity, before that can even get initiated. So I'm learning that as we work on self, we're simultaneously helping our twin flame work on self. So the twin flame relationship is a dynamo of do it over, do it again, and do it right. It is a direct mirror of everything that you feel in yourself, all the fear, all the frustration, all the passion, and all the love. So you have this direct link with that person where you feel that that is your home. But it's going to kind of like rattle the cages of fear and frustration. But you can't move on in this lifetime with your message until you handle that business. So it really starts to spur you doing a lot of internal work. You'll often get sick. You'll often go through a lot of physical challenges when you meet that twin flame. Now, understand, again, and I've put this out there over and over on social media, my personal karma is my business. What I do with my own personal life is my business. If I eat cheeseburgers every day and I get fat, that's my personal karma. Golden rule, right? But if I watch an old lady fall and I don't help her and I keep walking and she dies and her family's sad and that brings down the vibration, well, that's still karma. It's social karma, people. Come on, get together. We all know this. We're not stupid. I am a social karma sociologist, and I would like to tell you from the straight lines of the front battlefield that if you do not start standing up for social karma and social justice, we are not going anywhere. We are not changing. It's impossible. It is impossible. It's like we all jumped in a brand new car with a great engine and we didn't put any gas in it. So we are shit stuck. We are not going a damn place, people. So you need to fire up that social karma and start looking around you. Start shaking hands and getting to know those people around you and making a difference. And that twin flame relationship is about establishing social karma. Twin flames come together in a lifetime to raise the vibration of every being. So don't approach it with your little selfish self and think, oh, I've got to run. So twin flames are a mirror image of each other, but you might also notice that with the commonalities, there's many that you will be exact opposite ends of the spectrum on in your life. So that's kind of to help you both find balance in your life, right? For instance, if you're a right brain person and you gauge your life more than a left brain person would, because they're analytical, well then heart and intuition side is always going to be going against the analytical. So you're going to have to kind of push and pull and learn that conversation. You're going to have to learn that balance. If you choose not to learn it, well, you might not get another chance. It might take you 100 lives to meet that love of your life again. Now, if both of you are twin flames and you're not spiritually ready, then to face these obstacles together, it's going to be difficult to face yourself. You got to work on your skeletons. You got to work on yourself. I myself am diving head deep into my skeletal remains. Doing a week of silence. I am planning. I have ordered all of my gear. I'm going to do the John Muir Trail. And then next spring, I'm going to do the Pacific Crest Trail. And I look at it. I go into it with the best knowledge that I can to do the best thing I can. If I make it or if I don't, isn't the issue. It's how I start out to do it. You're going to realize that this is all about personal growth, and your drive to change has got to be motivated by unconditional love and the desire to be with your twin flame. If you find them, you got to keep going. With a soulmate, yes, you can groove and move. You can dislocate. You can reconnect. Because soulmates have a similar and intense connection, and it is hard to walk away from a soulmate, but I would say it's much easier to walk away from a twin flame than a soulmate, because the soulmate doesn't reflect you. It's more like all your positives get riled up. It's like meeting somebody and you guys are just nothing but smiles. If you're both little positive birds, I mean, are you really actually working on the detrimental things that make your persona face those things? You've got to look at the darkness before you can look at the light. Because even the brightest light will cast the darkest, deepest shadow. So you got to look at both sides. You got to handle both things. And soulmates, generally, you only handle one, right? Soulmates, twin flame connection, it's like a push and pull, kind of a little bit of a roulette, blackjack scenario. It's a gamble either way. Twin flame involvement can cause you to lose time and space. Minutes turn into hours. It's a 3D experience, right? So we're going to continue this talk on these issues about soulmates and twin flames 101 and the social conscience sociology, right? And if soulmates really do exist, we're going to talk about these things. And let me just tell you and reiterate, as I've said in a couple other pieces, they just prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, scientifically, at the University of Berlin, with 940 people, life exists after death. And it's not the life you thought. It is not streets of gold paved with honey and paved with diamonds. It is coming back, baby. It is coming back. Now, if you are not advancing your social karma because you think you're going to get out of jail, you're going to leave this place, and you're going to go to that perfect heaven-sent place, I got news for you. Do you think God is that easy? Look at nature. Look at the design of things. You got beautiful animals in the world that will get taken down by another animal that's bigger, stronger. So we all know about eco cycles and how things work and the natural cycle of things. So I have to say, I believe, and I'm coming from the upbeat Buddha standpoint of a Christ-conscious Buddhist, because I believe Christ walked the earth. I believe he brought a message that was beyond messages, and I believe that if we listen to it and apply it, we're going to be great. But I do not believe in religion at all. Religion is a fabrication of man. Now get out from the religion and find God. You won't find God in a church. You'll find God on a mountaintop, man. You get out into nature, you watch a sunset in Hawaii, you will see God. You play with a baby elephant, you will feel God. You sit in the birth room and you watch a baby being born, you will see God. God ain't always beautiful. God ain't always beautiful. God isn't always fresh and clean. God is not always easy. But God is perfect, and God is right, and God is just, and God is balanced. Dark and light, yin and yang, right and wrong. You're coming back. Now live the life that knows you're coming back. Live today like you know that tomorrow you could be born again, right back in the same spot, doing the same thing, but do it better. All right, so that is all I got to say. That is the end of today's show. But I would love to share with you, if you want to stay on and you want to listen to a few more minutes of this wonderful, wonderful song that has a lot of love to give, do so. This is Ryan Keys with Spirituality with a Spin, and I am spinning your spirituality in a tailspin because I am going to tell you like it is. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to rip this new thing out of myself and lay it onto the table, and so you can see my authentic self. Naked and afraid, but going to be bearing it all. Ryan Keys, Spirituality with a Spin. Check me out on YouTube, Upbeat Buddha. Follow my social media. If you need a reading, psychicperspectives.com. I will see you on the other side. Your lips on my mind, my mind.